Although I know that I'm young and I have a lot more summers to come, I feel as if this summer was the truly last summer that was a part of my childhood before I have to start interning and getting a job and having to do real adult things. So come along with me to see how I spent the last couple weeks back home before I moved back into my apartment. Over the summer, I felt myself in a slump a lot. My room was all messy. My closet had way too many clothes that I have been piling up since middle school. And I decided that it was time to do a very thorough and deep closet clean out. Everything that you see on the bed right here was things that I was going to donate and sell. And here's my keep pile. And although I didn't spend as much time in my sewing room as I wanted to, it still ended up getting very messy, and it was time to pack away all my fabrics and school supplies in order to fly back to LA. I tend to keep all my fabrics and clothes because I don't want anything to go to waste. As a fashion designer, I know how much fabric and waste there is that goes on in the fashion industry, and I just feel like I could somehow thrift flip everything. But realistically, everything was a bit too much. Okay, maybe a lot too much. But by the end of the summer, I managed to donate and sell everything that I had to and packed up all my things in order to go home. This summer, I really focused on looking good to feel good, and I found that a big part that helped me was doing my own nails. So I didn't have to break the bank by going to a nail salon, but I also had clean, nice, and stylish nails. I got some sent to me by my cousin in Vietnam, who has a friend who does nail art, as well as a lot from Glamnetic, which I'm super grateful for and happy to be working with. I used to think that it was a waste of time to take a part in all these little things, like doing my hair all the time, my nails, and makeup, but I'm beginning to realize that the better I feel about myself and the more that I take care of myself, the better that my entire life just seems to be. And as I said earlier, I felt like this year was truly the last year that I was going to have a quote-unquote regular summer, because I didn't have to spend this year interning or working, which I'm super grateful for, but it did, in all honesty, feel like I was going backwards. While everyone around me was interning, working, or even going back to school, since FIDM goes back to school in October, which is crazy to me. I was just out here making silly little TikTok videos and contemplating every single aspect of my life. Because I had already moved away for college for a whole year and lived on my own, I felt like it was just strange being back home. And at the very beginning of summer, I thought that if I could have a physical glow up, I would also have a mental glow up. But I learned very quickly, even after getting new glasses, getting piercings, getting a whole bunch of new clothes from collabs, that I really had to put in the work to grow mentally. I spent a lot of time with my friends and family, ate so much food to the point where I was just not enjoying food anymore, even though it was all so good. And I was so extremely lucky to be able to spend so much time with my loved ones, but it also left me no room for myself. The only times I truly felt like I had to myself was after 9 p.m., which messed up my sleep schedule a lot. I would spend this time to truly just enjoy myself. And for the first time in a very long time, I felt as if I actually had enough sleep. And I'm not talking about 8 hours of sleep. I was sleeping like 10 hours a night, which I know sounds crazy, but I feel like whenever I'm back at school in LA, I sleep on average like 6-7 hours, and my body and brain just won't let me go to sleep again. Just like with all the clothes and fabrics I have, I tend to cling on to everything and get sad as time tells me that it is almost time to go back to LA. So I spent a lot of time near the end of my stay back home with friends. Since I live in downtown LA with no car, you can imagine how lonely and scary sometimes it gets with the sirens are actually going off right now, and a police car is passing by my street. So I just really took this time to do things that I normally wouldn't be able to do up in LA, like going to a pumpkin patch, hanging out super late with my friends, being able to just enjoy life. And while I know that there aren't many people that will watch my vlogs, I really took the time to just make silly little content, mostly for myself, and also to just prove to myself that no one really cares and that if I want to, I can. So I would just take out my phone and just start recording sometimes, even though there were definitely people who judged and I felt stupid at times. I just really said YOLO. I also spent the summer doing a lot of things that I wish I had been able to do back in high school, because growing up with pretty strict parents, I wasn't allowed to go out late at night or go out on weekdays because I had to focus on school, etc., which I do understand why I wasn't allowed to do many things back then. But now, since I'm older, I get to control my life a bit more, and I really just took the time to do things that little me would want to do. I think it's also really important to just take a step back sometimes and look at how far you've come instead of focusing on what you haven't done, what you don't have. Because this whole summer I felt like I wasn't doing enough until I look back on my little clips and vlogs and notice that I have been doing a lot. Yeah, it might not be working towards my future that much and making money. The time that I went back in LA, it felt different this time. I was ready to conquer the school year. I was not scared as much anymore. It felt like it was just at the point where I was done talking about my plans and ready to just spring into action. With all that being said, however, I still am very scared for my future, since especially in fashion, I know that straight out of school there are not well-paying jobs, and for me, financial freedom has always been one of my top priorities. However, at the moment, I am just trying to really soak in what could potentially be my last year in LA and just focus on really learning in school as a fashion designer and bettering myself, my mental and physical health, and just keep a goal of trying to put myself out there more. I've always been afraid to say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, be viewed a certain way, but now I feel like I just don't care as much. Like, so what? My face turns red a lot. So what? I can't draw a drawing that would typically take another student an hour to draw, but it takes me like 2 hours to draw. I truly believe that comparison is the thief of joy, and as a designer, I feel like everyone is so unique and different in their own ways, which is something I really love about going to fashion school. When people present and show off their designs, drawings, etc., it's just very different, and you can just see how people's thoughts and creativity reflects themselves. With all that being said, I do want to continue to vlog more of my journey and experience in fashion school, and I will be uploading a first week of school vlog sometime soon. And at the very end of the day, I just have to remind myself that if my goal is to motivate and inspire anyone, if it's even just one person, then I can't get discouraged by the lack of views. And as my dad likes to say, to try a little harder. To try a little harder than you've already been doing, and to just keep pushing past the hard times. If you made it to the end, thank you for watching my vlog. I truly appreciate everyone who watches, and I hope that you all have a very lovely day, evening, night, whatever time it is.